Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3.
I'm doing it.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Our fight against COVID-19 pandemic was presented with two new challenges last week. The emergence of a menacing new variant on the other side of the globe and an uninformed court decision in another part of the state. Although both challenges emerged outside of St. Louis County, we'll feel their impact here for sure. First, the Omicron variant. As many of us were recovering from our Thanksgiving dinner, our public health experts were working through the weekend to monitor a new variant of this virus called Omicron. At this time, we have no evidence that the new variant is in St. Louis County, but just like our experience with the Delta variant, our public health experts believe that it's only a matter of time. The threat of the Omicron variant is just one of the many reasons why it's simply too early to weaken the mitigation measures that have helped to limit the spread of COVID so far. We've been consistent for over a year now. Wearing masks is one of the most important things you can do to protect yourself, your family, and your neighbors from COVID-19. That was true a year ago, and it's true now. And it will be true a month from now, regardless of the politics of the moment. What has been inconsistent over the last year is what we're expected to do legally in order to implement strong mask policies. Radical ideologues, many of whom still don't think COVID is real, have moved the goalposts so many times I've lost count. For over a year, but notably before he was running for the United States Senate, the Attorney General was just fine with our mask mandate. In fact, he hardly said a word about it. He was so silent about mask mandates that one could even say he supported masks. That is, before he was against them. The COVID deniers are proud that they have set up legal obstacles to making it hard to implement strong COVID policies. The latest challenge came last week when an elected Republican judge, a politician who has to run for re-election in a rural, Trump-loving county, entered a ruling about masks in a friendly fire lawsuit between radical anti-maskers and the Attorney General. Even though St. Louis County was never a party in the case or even asked to provide its position, the judge purported to declare all of our public health orders invalid. And how a judge can do that will be for the lawyers and the bar to figure out, but we know it's a dangerous ruling. We know it undermines our strong COVID policies, and we're starting to understand how it may impact our other public health policies. Apparently, in that judge's view of the world, our Department of Public Health should not be allowed to investigate dog bites, close a restaurant to prevent a hepatitis A outbreak, control the spread of tuberculosis, or take actions to limit the spread of sexually transmitted infections. And this kind of government-free world may be the kind of world COVID deniers want to impose upon us, but it's not the kind of world that St. Louis County wants to live in. Hopefully the courts will sort this nonsense out, but until they do, we must confront this new obstacle like we've confronted all others. As Robert Frost taught us, the only way out is through. So now the issue will return to the County Council. This weekend, I spoke to Chairwoman Days and several other council members. I believe they will continue to do what is needed to implement a strong mask policy for all of St. Louis County. More important than that, I hope that the people of St. Louis County will not get distracted by the legal wrangling and political posturing and not lose sight of the fact that masks save lives, and wearing a mask and getting vaccinated are the best ways to protect them, their family, and their neighbors from COVID-19. Thank you, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Could you tell us where we do stand when it comes to wearing a mask? Is it required here in the county now, or is it not?
We still have a mask order in St. Louis County. We'll be back in court tomorrow. But so far, nothing's changed. The attorneys will sort out the meaning of the court ruling from outstate Missouri and its impact here on our case before a circuit judge here in St. Louis County.
What's the county doing to enforce this? Because it seems like you go a lot of places and people just maskless, and it seems like there are no consequences following the push for people to wear them.
Yeah, so questions regarding enforcement have persisted, and I appreciate that. St. Louis County has never been in the position to enforce masks, but having a mandate in place allows businesses to post signs and protect their employees and their patrons who want to get out in our community and try and get as close back to normal as possible.
What action are you expecting the county council to take on the matter?
We'll present them with the opportunity to vote to support a mask mandate, and we believe that that's the path forward. A mask order similar to what we've had in the past. That's the pathway we'll take, and we're currently working on that language.
Do you expect that vote Tuesday at the next council meeting?
Yeah, I expect it to be before them on Tuesday, and I really don't have any indication that the council will change their position on masks. You know, I expect that to continue, especially in the presence of a rising positivity rate in St. Louis County, a rising case rate, and now a new variant that's got everyone in the world watching very closely.
Does St. Louis County know what percentage of the RAM settlement it's going to get yet?
So the question is about the RAM settlement, and that's part of the conversation we'll be having over the next month. We've got a month or so to work out those details. The settlement's not quite a week old, and a lot of that week was a long holiday weekend, so we'll work through those details.
What would you say that St. Louis County doesn't deserve a third because they didn't participate in the Riverfront Stadium proposal?
I'm not prepared today to talk about how it would be divided. We'll wait and get direction and guidance from our attorneys. I expect there'll be a lot of statements made, mostly about how the funds should be spent. And I think we first ought to stop and thank and recognize the work of our county councilor, Beth Orwick. She did a great job representing the county's position, helping to lead our legal response, working closely with our outside lawyers. And everyone in our county and our region should be proud of the work of our legal team.
Have you put any thoughts about where you would want that money to be spent, or is that going to be a county council discussion since they would also have to ratify that?
Yeah, so the question is about, again, about how we might spend RAM settlement funds. And first I would stop and say the settlement's a few days old. We still have some discussions about how that will be divided amongst all the plaintiffs. We'll work through that with the attorneys, and we'll listen very closely to what everyone has to say. Everyone in our community, most everyone, has an opinion over the weekend about how these funds should be spent, and I respect that. This is a big decision and a big development. It's something we've been working on for 5 years. My goal will be to spend the funds in a way that makes a meaningful difference in the lives of folks in St. Louis County, and we'll be listening to what everyone has to say over the coming weeks. And absolutely, the county council will have a lot to say about this. We'll be talking to them as well.
Will that money come in time to reconsider
Well, we don't have funds yet, but certainly we know that, we expect these funds to arrive. We don't know how much we'll be getting, so it's hard to budget for something that you don't have or you don't know what it will be. But it certainly does, help us feel a little better about the prospects moving forward. I think the budget will be stable in the coming years because of the stimulus funds, because of the opportunity to have access to the Wayfair tax, and because we've been very cautious over the past year in the wake of COVID in our spending patterns. So I hope that the funds, what funds we receive, we'll be able to use to make a positive difference in the lives of St. Louis County, and we won't need to use them to stabilize the budget. I think the budget will be stable with the existing revenue streams.
You have, you mentioned everyone has an opinion on what to do with the money. Do you sense that there will be an increased attention amount paid to where this money goes? And is it an opportunity to show that it can be used? There's a lot of, predictions that will be fought over that people it'll get tied up in the political arguments. Do you think it's a chance to prove that speculation wrong?
So the question I think is about how the funds will be divided, what that conversation will look like, and will it be a casualty of politics? I don't think so. All the parties in this settlement have a good working relationship, have a lot of respect for each other, and we'll find a path forward that's fair to all of the defendants and put this money to work in St. Louis County in a way that impacts people the most. It's way too early to say what that's going to be. We do have to listen a bit to what people have to say. There's a lot of good ideas in the community. We have to process those. And in St. Louis County, we have to have a conversation with our county council. And there's a lot of other important issues in front of them right now, so we have time to work through this.
Some county and city residents wanted to see this continue to be pushed, and they were really itching for a trial. What do you say for people who are maybe, disappointed that it ended in a settlement?
So the question is, how do you respond to folks that are disappointed that we have a settlement? I would say that we, in St. Louis County, we've always followed the advice of our experts, whether it's public health or litigation. And the experts that were advising us, our county counselor's office and our outside legal counsel, advised us that this settlement was a good settlement for St. Louis County and St. Louis City, and we should accept it and move on.
Will the county be doing the new variant as an old variant? Will they be implementing any new policies that would limit the hours that businesses can operate or the times that people can move around?
So the question is about the new variant, and is St. Louis County considering any other restrictions on businesses? And we're not. We believe that the path forward is continued vaccinations and continued wearing masks, and we don't have any indication that masks and vaccines won't protect us from this variant, as it does a pretty good job of protecting us from the existing COVID variants.
So there's no foreseen?
We are not considering any other restrictions on business capacity, and in fact, we have good partnerships with all business sectors in our community. We talk with them on a regular basis about how to keep their employees and their patrons safe. We're working with them very closely, and they're doing a good job of implementing our recommendations and recommending masks for their patrons and their employees.
I want to go back to the Cole County ruling. It's an unusual situation because oftentimes when a Cole County judge rules on something, it gets appealed, and oftentimes it's not like the final say. But as you alluded to, Attorney General Schmidt has said he's not going to appeal. I don't know if the county can ask for an appeal since they weren't a party to the case. How does the county move forward legally when the Attorney General is not going to move through the appeals process?
Well, the question is about the Cole County ruling and how it can impact us in St. Louis County. Our legal team is working through that. The ruling's not quite a week old, and it's had a long holiday weekend. They'll be meeting today and tomorrow to talk about our path forward. It's not good for St. Louis County. It undermines all of our public health orders, all of our protections, from hepatitis A in restaurants to people with tuberculosis and sexually transmitted diseases. It is certainly interesting that it was a friendly fire lawsuit with you know, both sides of the lawsuit, taking a position against masks and against public health orders. It's certainly interesting that the defendant doesn't want to appeal. But we'll talk to our legal team about the best path forward and how to get this question litigated in a way that's rational, and currently that's not what's happening.
The vote that the council is being asked to take Tuesday, can you clarify, is that as a result of the Cole County ruling, or is this part of it?
We'll have more about that in the next day or so. Our health department is processing that question. Our legal team is processing that question. I can tell you that I would expect that the county council wouldn't change its position. They'll find a way to express their support for continued masks in St. Louis County, because it's the right thing to do in the presence of increasing cases, increasing positivity rate, and now a new variant that we're all going to be watching very closely over the coming weeks. Keeping masks in St. Louis County is the right thing to do, and I would expect our county council to support that and to not change their position.
Would that vote, I guess, reaffirm that there's I mean, what would it do? How long would the...
So again, I don't have the details of what that will look like, but we should have them by this evening. At least we'll have some more idea about what that looks like. I would expect that we'll see a public health order that looks very, very similar to the one we have in place now, and that the council will take a position that's extraordinarily similar to what they've taken in the past, that they think masks are the right idea for St. Louis County, and people should wear them based on the advice of our public health experts, our health department, our health systems, and the pandemic task force.
Anybody else?
Okay, thank you.
Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Jesse. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you, Dr. Page.